What's going on, my fellow revelers? Welcome back to another episode of the Festy Hub Podcast. My name is Manny, aka Frisky Hug, and you're joining me on another episode of the Festy Hub Podcast, where I bring in all sorts of different guests that are part of the EDM community. For this episode, we have yours truly, Vibe with Ade. She's a life coach. She is a content creator. She used to do a blog. She might still do some blogging. She does honestly a lot of stuff for this community to honestly mentor a lot of people as well. I believe I'm like one of the people like look up to her. She's so great. And you kind of like see yourself in her, like who you want to become. So for me personally, I'm like, when I see things that I want to do, I look up to like her, and like obviously Emma Capotas too. Like they're two of my favorites. They've definitely risen above and gone beyond really like expectations of what a content creator can and would do. That's kind of what we're gonna be talking about on this episode. We're gonna be talking about working with brand deals. Vibe with Ade is one of the very few individuals that has actually worked with non-EDM brands and went like really successful routes with it. We'll talk more about what those brands were, what they gave her in return, and then talk about more about like what she gave to them. So it's just really cool to talk to another content creator and get like feedback on how to do that. How did that work out? How did that happen? Not only we'll talk about that, we'll also be talking about like her EDC Las Vegas experience, and then we're gonna dive into a little bit of electric forest, and maybe some like tips and tricks, kind of like at the end for that. But that's kind of what the topic's gonna be for this episode. That's who we're bringing in today. I'm sorry that I've been kind of like late with some of these episodes. I've been going through life. Life has been hitting me hard this month. These last like 3 or so weeks have been really tough on me. So I've been just going through a lot of like personal stuff, and I don't like to push myself. And that goes for anybody kind of listening now. It's like, don't push yourself. Give yourself a mental break. It's okay to be human. It's okay to have feelings. And it's okay to realize that you're not a super person, especially when like a lot of the stuff that we do isn't really like paid. We do it for fun. So it takes the fun out of it when you're kind of stressing so much about making sure you're on time for everything. Not saying consistency isn't important, because everyone knows it is, but just a little tip for like any of my like newcomer content creators out there, people who are really struggling to get things on time. It's okay to skip a few days, a few weeks. It's fine. Take a month off. Honestly, content creating takes a lot out of you. And then just make sure you just jump back into it. The only problem is like a lot of times when people like get that long break, they kind of like realize that it's just easier to just quit, and never quit. You never know what's going to happen. I personally have to believe that the reason why I'm doing all this matters. That's what kind of keeps me going throughout every day, honestly. But okay, that is my little TED talk for the morning, for the for the beginning of the episode. And without further ado, enjoy the podcast. All right, so I'd like to welcome Vibe with Ade to the Festy Hub Podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me. So excited to be here.
I mean, I've been wanting to have you for a while, and then I was just kind of like looking for the right opportunity to like bring you in and stuff. And I mean, this was perfect. I mean, we just had like EDC Vegas together. I'm like, oh my God, that's something like we could talk about. But there's a lot of other stuff that I want to talk with you about and kind of share to the podcast for like educational purposes. I mean, we've been friends for a while. And I hope like all my viewers know who you are, but for those that don't, if you could kind of just give like an intro about yourself.
Yeah. So my friends call me Ade. My real name is Adriana. I started creating festival content in 2017. Before it was called festival content creating, I kind of gave that title to myself, but I started a blog on how to go to music festivals essentially, because I had gone to EDC and Coachella and Austin City Limits, like all these big festivals in 1 year in 2017. And I had a really hard time finding content to really help me prepare for that festival. Like I am just very type A, need to know what's going on. So I tried to search for that kind of content and wasn't really finding it. So I created a website, vibewithade.com, and it was a blog, and it still is a blog.
Right.
And it's transferred into YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of the things since then. And so that is what I do as part of my job. And then on the flip side, I am a full-time fulfillment coach, which is basically a life coach that just helps women find more fulfillment in their life. I started that last year. So I call myself a life coach and content creator in a way because I do both of the things.
Right,
So
exactly.
that's kind of what I'm currently doing as my full-time job, which is so amazing. So I get to create festival content and also help women, you know, hit the major goals in their life, which is really amazing.
I feel like we all kind of like start off with like certain things. And then I feel like our journeys, right, are very aligned because I feel like I started kind of similar where like you do one thing and then you kind of test your water. Can I do something else? Can I do more? Can I do more? And
Yep.
then suddenly we're doing like 10 things. And then like, I think maybe I don't know if you've gone through the same thing as me, but like I take on too much and then I'm overwhelmed and like take it back a little.
Yeah, literally. That's been my like 2022. I've just been like pulling back and like taking more off of my plate.
Yeah.
And it's honestly been so nice. And like I've just kept things very minimal compared to like the years past. So it's been very freeing to have the year that I'm having so far.
Yeah, I feel like we're sometimes like our mental health is just a little more important at this point. You know, we are
Yeah.
trying to be on every platform and do the best we can. Cause like I like did blogging. I had like, you know, on friskyhug.com and I was trying to do all that. And then plus the articles with the rave doctor. And I was like, oh wow, I'm doing a lot
Mhm.
of blogs for a lot of like people. And at this point it's like I have to cut some things out. So I'm like, no more blogging.
Yeah.
You already know editing just takes way too much time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not 2020 anymore. So I gotta cut it down. I have a job. So
Yeah, totally. You have to find what works best for your platform, and what you like creating as well. I think sometimes we fall into the trap of like what hits most,
mhm.
but sometimes what hits most isn't what's most fulfilling to us at the same time too. So, I think it's a matter of finding what you like to do and putting all your time and focus into that.
I liked it when like okay, so you know, a lot of people look up to you and stuff. So when you say things like, "Oh, I'm taking like a mental break," when I one of the first times when I saw you do that, I'm like, I deserve a mental break too. She's right. If she's taking one, I need to take one too. You know, like in my eyes, I'm like, I'm not better than her. I need to take
Yes.
one too.
Everyone needs one. We all need mental breaks and like we all need that time. Like to constantly be going all the freaking time is just a lot.
Yeah.
It takes so much energy and like sometimes taking a break really helps because then we come back to it with a
Hmm.
more like fresh perspective or new ideas. Like even after EDC, you know, I got COVID. So
Yep.
I did get sick for a little bit. And then I was like using all of last week just to like get back into things. And I felt bad because I do TikTok content for Beatbox, the
Yeah.
wine party punch.
Shout
And
out because
shout
like
out.
three beatboxes, you are done for the night.
Yeah, they're the best. But I took that break and then I like smashed out like 15 TikToks for them in like 3 hours, you know? So it's one of those things where like rest is really important and then you can always come back to it and like hop back on it.
Okay, so I know we had like an agenda, but we're talking about
Yeah.
TikTok and now with like a question. Um, because I have been so I don't know, I feel like I just had more creative like ideas when COVID was like definitely like a thing. Pandemic was just
Mhm.
happening nonstop. We had all this free time and I had more ideas, I think like a year ago, and now I'm coming to the idea, like to the point where like I'm trying to do a TikTok, but like I just can't come up with anything. I'm like, how do
Mm.
you prepare for like coming up with ideas for TikTok?
Yeah. So I honestly I'm on TikTok all the time. I'm not gonna lie, that's probably the platform I'm on the most, but I use my favorites. So like anything that I like,
Mhm.
any trending sound, anything like that, I put it in my favorites. And you can now organize your favorites, which I was like so grateful
Wait,
for that
what?
TikTok did that. Yeah, you can organize your favorites now. So I have a folder for you know, the content that I want to
Mhm.
create. I have a folder for like brand stuff. So like if there's a, you know, a sound that might work for Lunchbox or like Raverade or, you know, one of those ones, I'll put it in a separate folder. If there's something that works for Beatbox. So I'm lucky that I have access to the Beatbox account so I can create in there. So I do
Yep.
DM my ideas to the Beatbox account. That way when I go into that account, I'm able to like pull it up and like film in there and like everything, right? Um, so I really am just like always searching for ideas. And then some other things is like, you know, today I didn't really feel like doing anything for a TikTok. So I just posted up a funny video, you know,
Yeah.
like TikTok is so easy and it doesn't really need to be this whole like strategy, really. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a strategy to it, but sometimes you can easily just go up and like, Emma's really good at this, where she goes and asks a question. Like she just posted a video, like, what DJ have you been pronouncing wrong
Right.
this whole time? Right. Like you could do something like that. I'm about to go on and do a post of like, what questions do you guys have for Electric Forest, and like literally reply to all of them. Right.
It's super smart.
Because I've also been having the same with Electric Forest, right?
Mhm.
I could easily go on and start saying all these things about Electric Forest, but I'm like, I don't know what people want to know or like what
Right.
questions people have. So like, why don't I just ask them and they give me direction that
Yeah,
way
they'll
too?
give you the ideas already, and cool. I'm just gonna answer these. That's actually really smart. That's actually a really good idea because I've been like just having these brain farts, and I have been.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've been going like to nonstop festivals, just back to back to back, which for one is very exhausting. Just going, I went to 3 festivals back to
You've
back,
been
and
going ham.
I know. So luckily, I have montages, but it's like I don't have like. I just feel like I was funnier last year.
Oh, well, it's always something to tap into. You don't just stop being funny.
I know, right?
You are funny. Like the most recent one you did, I think, well, when you've traded all the candy you had
Yeah,
left or whatever, and it's like, finally I can rest.
yeah.
I thought that was so funny.
It took me a week to come up with something like that though, and I was like, "Why?" Like back then, it was just so easy. I could come up with one a day, and now it's like,
Mm,
oh my god, it is just so hard. Just scrolling through TikTok trying to find something
yeah.
that's really like that's me. I could talk about drugs and bad festival habits all day, but it's like
Yeah.
that's just not my content. I like
Yeah.
to stay genuine to my audience and what they expect out of me, and a lot of them don't expect like some drug jokes and stuff like that usually. So it's like just very like I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, don't force it, right?
Yeah,
Don't force
exactly.
being funny. Just like maybe save ideas or things like that. And then try and think of ways of like, hitting the viral trends, but then also like nurturing the current
Mhm.
followers you do have and getting to know them more or something like that, right? That's my marketing brain coming out. Once you give me a topic on like marketing,
Right.
I just go.
I love it. I love it. You know what's funny is I'm actually working for like a marketing company right now,
Oh,
and
nice.
I actually had like I did a podcast with Stephanie Rosa, and I was like,
Mm,
oh, let me send you this podcast I did. She's this girl is just so smart. Anything she has to say, you have to just listen to, right? And
yeah.
I send people like those podcasts because when I get out of these like podcast episodes, I get a lot out of it. So I'm like, I hope somebody else
Hmm.
does too. And that's like a big portion of why I like doing these things is I like to keep it informative and educational, yet also like kind of funny and about like each other.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way, on the whole Allegiant sponsoring thing through
Oh,
EDC.
thank
Uh,
you.
Super fucking cool. I didn't even know that was gonna be a whole stage and like,
I had
wow.
no idea. I had no idea what to expect.
Oh, I know. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about that experience now, but I kind of want to transition over to the fact that that was like a brand, and that's not Allegion's not
Mhm.
really like an EDM brand, right?
Mm-mm.
So out of like all of the like content creators, from what I've seen, you have like Bud Light as well, and
Yep.
you're always tapping into a different market because you can, right? And you get
Mhm.
these like brand deals or sponsorships and whatever, for these videos and for like these long things. I think the other person was like, where's Amanda? She was really good at doing
Yep.
that too.
Yep.
You two have been like pretty close and like how you guys like market yourselves. Can you educate us on the process that you went through to kind of get those deals?
Yeah. So I didn't do anything.
Are you serious?
Every single brand deal I've gotten, they've reached out to me. So,
Oh wow, I didn't know
um,
that.
yeah, a big tip that I would really say is just really focusing on the content and establishing your brand authority and just putting out genuine and authentic content that also looks good as well, right?
Mhm.
And with Bud Light and even Bedhead, that was another one. That was back in 2020. They both reached out to me. I still don't really know how they found me, but you can kind of guess either through YouTube or
Right.
someone was looking for that for their influencer campaign that they were doing. Now that I've worked on the other side too, I kind of have an idea. There are certain platforms you can sign up for, right? But for me, I'm not in a phase of trying to actively pursue brand deals. So if
Mhm.
they come through, I get like maybe 3 to 4 emails a day, I would
Mhm.
say. And it could be from anywhere, products that are related to festivals and products that are completely out of left field. Like I've gotten a home security like one, and I was like, I don't think that one's gonna work. But there was like another one that could be related to festivals or something, right? Bud Light came at a time where we were all staying at home. We had the live streams, like all that kind of stuff. And Bedhead, same thing, like, fun festival hairstyles you can do, that kind of thing. And so I think what really has helped me get these deals is just having a profile that cohesively looks good. It looks like I know what I'm doing. I know how to kind of tell a brand story and things like that. And so, same thing with Allegiant Airlines. They just sent me an email
That is so
explaining the
cool.
offer about going to EDC. So, this was actually my biggest brand deal
That was
ever.
so cool. Just like it just how proud that is, man. That was like I was telling all my friends, I'm like, dude, this is
Oh,
like
thank
so
you.
cool. It's just like, and it was just so cool. Like it was really nice because like I think you and Emma were both not gonna go. And then like you and Emma
Yeah,
both
we both
almost
weren't going.
both almost at the same time. You guys were like, hey, we're both going. And you guys like kept it a secret.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you guys know that you guys are both going.
No, like legit, I was not going. And same thing with her. So I think she knew a little bit sooner
Mhm.
than I did, like maybe a month or two sooner, I would say. And mine happened so quick. Like I got the email on Thursday. We confirmed it on Monday or Tuesday, and I got the clear to like post about it and stuff like that. So it happened super quick, happened end of April too, which was like kind of last minute when it comes to
Mhm.
EDC planning, but we were able to figure it out. And so for that, I had to do a couple of posts and a couple of Instagram stories. And there was some guidelines and stuff. And then I got 2 free tickets to EDC, hotel stay, rental car, and premier parking pass.
That
Like
is so
it's so
cool.
wild.
What?
Yeah, like
That
all
was
of
a lot more
that.
than I thought. Jesus.
Yeah, so they really hooked it up and they were very accommodating, which was super amazing. The person that I worked with,
Uh-huh.
we flew in Thursday, left Monday. And yeah, it was just amazing. And Allegiant had like a cool rave hanger, so I did get to check that out. I actually got to skip the line, which was cool. And go in and like get some footage and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, my biggest brand deal yet, and I'm just like so grateful for it.
Do you expect like like even bigger brand deals to come in 2022?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of open to just like whatever comes through. We'll see. My coaching business has become a bigger priority for me
Mhm.
lately, so that's kind of where I've been shifting a lot of my focus. But what's really great about the Allegiant Airlines one was just that like I can just show up, continue to do the posts that I'm doing, and opportunities like that can come through. And I'm not showing up my full 100%. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So that means I can like get by not having to worry about posting every single day or like doing multiple YouTube videos in a week. Like I can literally go at the pace that I'm going at and still get opportunities like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really great confirmation of me to be like, okay, Ade, you can like take a chill pill.
Oh man, I'm actually kind of curious about your life coaching now that you brought that up.
Mhm.
I want to know more about that.
Yeah.
Like okay, so when did you start that?
I started it in 2021. So beginning of 2021.
And then like what inspired you to I guess do that?
Yeah. So honestly, I've always wanted to be a coach of some
Uh-huh.
sort. And I've been really thinking about it back in like high school and even middle school. I was doing like these camp counselor type of
Mhm.
things. Like I've always been in some mentorship kind of role. Same thing in college. I was always in some type of leadership, mentorship, like that kind of role. And then graduating from college, I actually had a coach and he was kind of a career coach, kind of a life coach kind of thing that I had through a certain program. Don't want to get into it, it's a lot, but so I got an experience of what it was like to actually have a coach then. And he was older. So I was like, man, I must have to be like 40 or 50 to like do something like this,
You
right?
would
Like
think, but
you would
honest,
think,
yeah,
right?
we all live a different life, and sometimes people live just more in a shorter amount of time. I have a friend who's
Mhm.
he's 29. I won't say his name, but he'll know if he's watching this. And he was telling me, he's like, dude, I'm so glad I met you. I met you at the right time. I've been so closed off from like this world. And he's
Mm.
like, now I feel like I'm free, and like you're teaching me all these things
Oh,
about festivals and like
I love
music that
that.
I actually love. I actually like took him backstage to see Alesso for the first time. So
Mhm.
it's like his first festival. He's like never been backstage, and he's like, and
Oh.
I just wowed his entire Sunset experience. And he's like, I think I'm in love with this scene. I think I'm in love with festivals and the EDM community. And I'm just like, dude, I probably showed him more in like 2 days than like,
Yeah.
he's ever had in the last 29 years of his life. And same goes for you. I mean, like I'm telling you, you've lived a lot, you've learned a lot. And like,
Yeah.
even like now you're teaching me stuff, I'm like,
Yeah.
so it's like, it's just so cool. Cause like, I think we limit ourselves based on our age, but that's just not the case.
Exactly. And that's what happened. So I was like 22, fresh out of college, thinking corporate America ladder, all of that stuff was going to be for me. I knew like maybe 2 months into my corporate job, like, no, I'm going to work for myself, because I had started Vibe with Ade around the same time. And I saw how much like passion I had for it. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, but like, I'm going to work for myself. So I said that in 2017. And then from 2017 to 2020, obviously, there was like a period of just working on Buy with Aid, building up that brand. And I slowly but surely started to realize like, working in the industry that we do is a little bit different compared to being an influencer in like the
Hmm.
fitness industry
Hmm.
or lifestyle industry, travel industry. Like in the festival industry, yes, there was a lot of money, but when it comes to actual creators making that money, it can be hit or miss even now to make a consistent income to live off of. So I started to realize like, yes, Vibe with Aid, I'm going to always have, but I need to
Yeah.
figure out something else. Like, is it going to be me doing marketing? Like, am I going to have a marketing agency? Like, I wanted to figure out what that could be. And honestly, because of the Raven Festival scene, it was how I found Maddie Maple. Have you heard of her?
I have, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So Maddie Maple, she's an amazing confidence coach, business coach. At the end of 2020, she did like a 2020 podcast kind of wrap up on like her first year of business, and she really talked about it. And she's a year or two younger than me.
Hmm.
And I was like, wait a minute, if this girl is going to raves, doing her thing, and coaching people and making like a sustainable income, like, why can't I do that? Like, I've lived so much through life.
That
I've lived,
is the question of
yeah,
the week. Why not
literally.
me? Why not?
Exactly.
It's
Why
such
not? Why
that's
can't
so
I
so
do that?
cool. But
So that was literally one of those things. And she said it at the end of the podcast. Like, if you want to get in on this, like, send me a DM. Let's talk about it. And like, her and I had been talking
Mhm.
together because I wanted her on my podcast,
Yeah.
but I reached out to her and then we started working together beginning of 2021. And as we started working together, the universe just started being like, all right, girl,
Yep.
buckle up. You're going to do this. So I ended up leaving my corporate job like a few weeks after working together with her,
Yeah.
because something happened at my job that was kind of like a sign of like, all right, time to go.
I remember that actually.
Yeah. And I saved up a lot of money. So I was kind of like, you know what? I might as well like sink or swim. Let's figure it out.
So such a
And
scary thing to do though. Like, right? Like it's such a like an anxiety thing. And it's like, oh
totally.
man, I don't wanna fuck this
It was
up.
one of those things though that like I had so much adrenaline
Uh-huh.
to not even have anxiety.
Almost like
You know what I
excitement,
mean? Yeah, like I was just running off a different kind of energy that I was just like, you know what? Let's figure it out. If I need a struggle, I will figure it out, that kind of thing. So I started it then. I started working with her. We developed out a program and then I started taking like beta clients, and then I fully launched in March, and I got completely booked out with 8 one-on-one clients for 12 weeks. And they were all people from my community.
Yeah.
So that was another thing that was like, because I started Vibe with Aid, I'm now able to, have a business with it, because all the people that signed up to work with me had seen my progression from 2017 to 2021. And they're
Mhm.
like, I want that. Whatever you've been doing. Yes, that's what I want.
Yeah.
And so now I've kind of narrowed it down more to helping women find more fulfillment in their life. So whether it's through their career or what they do in their day to day. I teach women in a 12-week program how to do exactly that based on everything that I've learned. So it's been super rewarding. I've helped over 30 women in the past year, and I currently have 9 clients right now.
Oh, you took out an extra
Um,
one, huh?
yeah, I took on an extra one this round. I was going to take 10, but I have 9 clients, and then I have one client that I call like an accountability support, which means I meet with her bi-weekly because we already worked together for 12 weeks. And now I just get to help continue support her on her journey. So it's been super rewarding and like amazing. And it's honestly like what I felt like I've been meant to do. And I'm so glad that I realized it sooner rather than waiting till I was like 50 to do it.
Oh my God. I'm so glad that like, you're finding yourself, because finding yourself is just like the hardest thing to do. And like, even me right now, I still like, as soon as I'm like talking to my friends, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, what do I love? What do I love to do? Right. And when you find that and like right now, you're just like, right? You're like, wow, this is
Yeah.
actually what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling to find. And I just wish other people could find it too. Most people do know, like, if you actually take the time to figure that out and like be inquisitive about it, you can find that out. It's just a matter of dedicating that time to it and being leaning into the uncomfortability of actually stepping into it, right? Because I could have just said, yeah, I want to be a coach, and then let that sit there forever getting dust and not doing anything.
That,
and that's what a lot of people do. Literally. And a lot of the times when I'm, coaching with clients, I talk to them about things that, they might have had in their past. And they're like, yeah, that was something I really wanted to do. And I'm like, well, why don't you want to do it? And they're like, I'm just like scared or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, that's what I'm here to help with. Like, let's do it,
I know. I just like quit my job yesterday. And I picked up a long story. I can't even like get into it because like it's like legal stuff. And then like, like today I started my first day on the job on another job because like apparently I get hired really quick. And it's like, it was such a scary moment. I couldn't sleep all of Sunday because I'm like, oh, what if I hate the job, this and this, So like, you just never know. The unknown is the worst and scariest thing, right?
Yeah.
Am I going to pay my bills, rent? Am I going to have to like live off a loan for the next year? All that stuff is pretty scary. Let's jump into EDC Las Vegas. I know we talked a little bit about it. We were talking about the Allegiant, the whole adventure with that. I kind of want to know about your experience. I don't even think I saw you at all.
No, I didn't see you at all.
It was like, I only went for like 2 days. Actually, I went there for a day and a half. That's probably why. Then.
Yeah. It truly reminded me of like when you camp at EDC, you are truly in your own world and bubble, because I didn't like, if I hadn't texted BB or Emma, I don't think I would have seen them.
No, 100%. What's funny, because we both went last year and I not once had to text you guys, and I saw you guys every single day. But this year I didn't find anybody. It was so crowded. No. The pool was insane. I heard half an hour to get inside. I'm like, no. So it was just rough.
Wait, just to get into the pool?
Just
like,
to get
put
into
your little feet in?
Yeah. Just to get to the sidewalk of the pool.
Oh my god.
It took me half an hour. So the line extended all the way to the bar. Like all the way back to where all the clothes and vendors were at. Yeah. That's how far it went. And I was like, I'm not going to the pool. Like, and my friends were like, oh, cut in front of us. We're already in the front. Like, you waited half an hour for this? Are you serious? I don't even want to go inside.
You might as well just bring a blow up pool next year.
Wait, is that
bring a kiddie pool?
I think that's what we said. Oh no. My friends and I were joking because we wanted a jacuzzi in the backyard. We're like, oh, let's just like bring a pool.
Bring a little kiddie pool next year, everyone.
Honestly,
for your tent.
it's gonna get that bad. I might as well. But once I got inside, I had friends that bought cabanas, so we just like we had the cabanas and all that shit and stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Shout out to the homies that let me use their cabanas.
Yeah.
But talk to me about your adventure. So when did you land? How did all that stuff happen?
Yeah.
What you day 1, day 0?
We got there Thursday at like 6 a.m. So we were there super early. We got the rental car, all that stuff. And then at the Link is where we stayed at. Don't know if I recommend. I've stayed at other places. I like the Link, but I think I like some other places better on the Strip, like with the Aria. I know it's more expensive, but
really nice. Yeah,
it's really nice, but I think it's worth it compared to where we stayed. We went to go check in early, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like if you wanted to check in now, it'd be like $60." And we were like, "Okay, we'll just leave the car parked." And then we ended up like exploring around and stuff. And then we got breakfast. I think we ended up checking in probably around like 1 or 2. And then we just chilled. We went to a nice dinner at Sushi Samba at the Venetian. Nice sushi dinner. I actually really like that place. I recommend it. And then we went to Elro, Vegas at XS at the Win, which was super dope. They did the whole Elro production, which is always on top tier.
Love the confetti.
Very packed there as well. So luckily we were able to go kind of outside and be able to still hear the music and be kind of away from the crowd, but it was a lot of people, but it was definitely an Elro production for sure. I was very like this close to being close to Dombresky, but we also saw like Matroda was there hanging out. Who else was there? Craze was there hanging out. There was someone else that we were okay. Okay. I hadn't seen him in so long.
I love Okay's coming into my town next week, and I'm like, I really want to go and see him because one of my favorite songs is Thief, and I was
yeah. I haven't seen him in so long, but he's like one of the OGs for me. I feel like what that I saw a lot when I was like first started raving.
Me too. Yeah.
So we were there probably till like 3 or 4 a.m. I did like the link because I hadn't stayed on that side of the strip in a while. Or ever, I don't think. So it was kind of nice being on that side of the strip for things because normally I stay at like MGM or New York, Aria. So I'm usually on like that side of things. So that was basically like our day 0. And then day 1, we got big breakfast. We went to Fisher Pool Party at the new Tao Beach Club, which was super cool. That was like my 3rd or 4th Vegas pool party. I really liked like the aesthetic of that one. The opener DJ was super dope. And then we saw Fisher. We only saw him maybe for like 15, 20 minutes because they go on at like 4 o'clock, I think. Like 3:30, 3:34, I think. I think he went on at 3:30.
And just rushing.
Yeah, we didn't want to rush and stuff. So we decided to we got Chipotle on the way back. But I found out that Fisher brought out Chris Lake during that set.
My God.
And I was
you were like
I was like, of course. I knew it was gonna happen, but I was like, we need to get ready and get to EDC. Like I've
Chris
seen
Lake
them perform together before.
Just who he is. Chris Lake as a human being is really nice and genuine. So I've always had good encounters with him.
Yeah, I love both of them, but I was like, whatever. I've seen them before. It's not a big deal.
Right.
It's okay. We went back, we got Chipotle, and then I started getting ready. Chase took a power nap, and then we ended up leaving a little bit later than I wanted to, but it was okay. We ended up having to drive to Premier Parking, all of that stuff. I think we left at like 6:30. Yeah, something like that. 6:30-ish. And it probably took us about 2 hours from the time we left to the time we got through security. So that was that whole thing. I've done driving and Premier Parking. I've done the shuttles before, so I kind of knew what to expect.
The shuttles were different this year. I don't know.
Shuttles were different this year.
Okay, I could only go get a shuttle from a certain time to a certain time, and then they stopped, and then I could only go back from a certain time to a certain time.
Yeah.
It was so crowded. My friend that I was with, which is funny because I'm always the one getting panic attacks, he ended up getting a really big panic attack, and he's like, "We have to go." I'm like, "We can't. It's like 11:30. The shuttles are gone." And he's like, "No." He's like, "We have to leave. Like, I'm literally freaking out. My stomach hurts. I need to go home." And at that point, his entire night was ruined, right? He just wants to go home. It took us 2 hours to find an Uber.
Oh no.
And
wait, this year?
This year, yeah.
Oh.
So it was at this point, it was
Wait, you didn't camp?
I did both. I had a hotel and I had an RV.
Got it.
But I went back with my friend to his hotel room because I'm a fucking rave dad and I wanted to make sure he was gonna be fine, right? So I went back with him and make sure he was okay for the rest of the night, and that I'm like, at this point, I don't think I can vouch for shuttles anymore because if you end up in a situation where you have to go back to the hotel, what are you going to do?
You feel stranded. Yeah.
That's what it was. And he's like, I don't think I can do. I'm like, he has insomnia, so he really couldn't do camping, but I think next year he's gonna just do camping. He's like, it's better than having to rely on shuttles or Uber.
Yeah, exactly. What day was that? Was that day 1, day 2?
Day 1, yeah, it's on Friday.
Okay.
So I was only at EDC. Well, I went to the opening ceremony, but we left at we started leaving at 10:50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't make it very far.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got there maybe around 8, I think, close to 8. So yeah, because if it was 6:30-ish, that took us about that time. And we got there 8:30. Now I'm
Yeah.
thinking back to the schedule because we missed part of Tin Liquor. And then we were like, all right, well, we're just going to go to Neon Garden.
Mhm.
From the moment I got out of the car, though, that's when I realized it was going to be cold. And I was
Oh my
like,
God. The wind on day one
the
was
wind was so
nuts.
bad.
That's not, yeah, it was so bad. I was sitting in the ground and I'm just like, this is so bad.
Yeah, the moment I got out of the car, well, I opened the window or something, and Chase was like, "No, it's fine. Like you're just being dramatic. We're just like in the middle of driving or whatever." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay." And then we get out in the parking lot, and I get this big gust of wind, and I'm like, "Oh no!" And like I had my hair down with this cute little daisy look, and
Oh
like
no.
I forgot to grab a pashmina, so I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like what are we about to like experience this
Mhm.
day?" And like we went to Neon Garden. We were watching Dennis Cruz. We had tried going to some merch lines and all of them were busy.
Oh yeah.
And I was just standing there at Dennis Cruz, like literally shaking because I was in like a cute little rave outfit, whatever.
Oh,
If I just had a pashmina, I would have been fine.
right.
And Chase noticed, he was like, okay, like let's go get you some coverage. Like he also was cold too. So then we end up going to like one of the main merch tents off of Rainbow Road.
Mhm.
And that's where we spent the next 3 hours.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
that bad, huh?
that bad. Yeah, that bad. So it was funny, like leading up to EDC, someone asked me what my biggest EDC mistake was. And it
Mhm.
was honestly leaving later on day one and then not grabbing a pashmina.
Yeah.
Like now I know, like no matter what at EDC, I'm just gonna grab a pashmina or something and just have that on hand. Like I should have just brought it. We had a locker, so like we should have just brought jackets just to have, but it is what it is. So we waited in that line for 3 hours. Like I missed Chris Lake. I missed Eric Prydz. It's whatever. I've seen both of them before. I'll see
I
them
know.
again.
I know, right? When you think about it, it's like it's us. It will be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. It'll be fine. Chase was like, you can go see Chris Lake. And I'm like, I'm not leaving you, but thank
Yeah.
you. Like that means a
Aw.
lot to me
Oh,
that you would
I
wait in
miss
this
him.
line. I know. I was like, that means a lot to me that you would wait in this line for me and for us while I go see Chris Lake, but I'm not gonna leave you.
And he really would
Um,
too. He meant it.
no, he meant it. And so yeah, we spent 3 hours in the merch line. We brushed it off, and then I saw Porter Robinson, which made up for everything. I let out a good cry after that because waiting in the
Mhm.
line for 3 hours just was like not the vibes. And
Yeah.
so um uh, we saw Porter, and then we met up with our friends, met up with Emma, and I was like, okay, like I can finally like breathe
Yeah.
because I just felt like we were all over the place. Like everything was just all over the place. And I think that was one of the things, like not being a part of camp. I just kind of like had FOMO from not like the activities, but just from the people, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're at camp, you feel much more connected to everyone
Yep.
and like your friends and stuff. So that was something that I just felt like a little disconnected from everyone.
Yeah.
But we made it work. And like I feel like I had better service this year than like even last year's, which was
I had
surprising.
service too, but my friends with the exact same provider didn't have service, and I don't know what that was about, but like people
Yeah.
were using my Wi-Fi so they could upload like their pictures and stuff.
Mm,
It's so weird. But my service was better this year, and other people thought it was like switched around, like where like they had better service
yeah.
last year.
Chase had really good service both years. So I was just telling all my friends, like, worst case,
Yeah.
just text him. But yeah, I had way better service, I feel like, this year. So yeah, day one was a little bit of a mess, but we like shook it off, and we still ended up having like a good rest of the night, and like got to do a little bit more exploring and stuff. Like I don't think I saw a full set on day one because we only had like I think 4 hours or 5 hours left of the day after missing, the first half. So we just tried to make the most of it. And then we ended up leaving, I think 4:30, 4:45, just to
Mhm.
like beat traffic going back.
I mean, what's funny is like we do that, but people who's like it's their second EDC Vegas, they're not skipping a beat. Like this,
No.
so it's funny because like I left at 10:50 day one, day two, I left at like 4 or something.
Yeah.
And I just went back to the RV this time and I just slept in the RV.
Yeah.
But and then like Sunday came through, and honestly Sunday I cried a lot. No,
Oh,
I had to go home. I'm like, this sucks.
oh,
Like I had to go to work.
yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
Camping's the
I cried
vibe.
at I never cry at sets, but I cried at Porter when he played Sad Machine because I was just like, ugh, like this day we just waited to merge for 3 hours.
I could
I'm
like,
like, who am I? And I literally
oh.
said it on the vlog. I was like, even me, like someone who's a seasoned veteran who's been in
Yeah.
EDC a couple times, like is gonna have their mess ups and like
Mhm.
mishaps too. Like, and some people were like, it's okay to wait for like artist merch like that. I was like, we weren't waiting for artist merch. I literally just like needed something to stay warm. Like I literally was not waiting for any type of artist merch. Like I know some people wait for like, the Millennium jerseys or
Mhm.
like, stuff like that. I literally just needed warmth. But one thing I will tell you guys, we did find a vendor village after the fact. So you can get pashminas and things. Now I know.
I
I didn't know
think
that existed.
I think that if you go to the medical tent, you could ask for hand warmers.
Oh, they also had the emergency
Oh yeah, yeah,
blankets
yep.
too. But I was just like, let's just try merch. But then directly across from merch was literally the vendor village. And I was like, I wish I knew about that. But now I
Dude,
know.
I completely forget about that. You could just
I
grab
didn't even
clothes.
know.
Oh
I had
wow.
no clue that there was a vendor village before because I always thought like Insomniac would be very like exclusive to Insomniac
Mhm.
things, maybe, but I don't know. I
Was it
didn't
there
know if it
last
was there in
year?
years past. I don't know. I've never seen it before. And someone told me it was there last year too, but I didn't see it. It's on the outskirts of the Carnival Square
Mhm.
off of Rainbow Road, like basically like across from the Flower Tower too.
Huh. I
Yeah.
don't think I've seen it either, actually.
Yeah, I never seen it. It's pretty tucked away. Like it's kind of covered by like, other like walls and like murals and
Oh
stuff.
no, I have seen it. Actually, I have seen it. It's actually been there every single year now. Now that I think about it, yes.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I've never seen it.
yeah, yeah. That's it's the same place where they have like glasses. They have the goggles, like
Yeah,
with the
and the
spikes.
fans.
Yep,
Yeah.
I remember now. Yeah, they've had it actually there since like 2017, I think.
Oh, good to know. Never knew that.
Yeah, I
I
completely
wish I
forgot.
knew. See, and that was the thing. I was like, why didn't I just like text someone ahead of time being like, hey, is it cold? Like before we left or something. Cause it was a hot day on Friday,
Yeah.
Lessons learned, but it is what it is. The rest of our weekend, I'd say, was like a lot smoother. But just some things that I noticed, like it was definitely felt like a lot more people compared to October. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I just think logistically, there's some things that could be ironed out. More people just means, having to maybe be more thorough with security, right?
Yeah.
For weapons or like, I did notice more trash this year. Like I kept on stepping on like water bottles and
Really.
cups and like I stepped on so much. I felt like and kept on tripping over things. I noticed that more than like any other year. So I just think that there could be some things to maybe help alleviate. Also, like, the thing with the merch line, it was super understaffed. So I think, to accommodate for more and more people on the raceway, maybe also make sure we have enough
Hmm.
staff and like things like that.
I
But
think
other than that, like the sets were good and like we had a good time.
I think last year was better. I hate to be like the
I
person who
liked
like.
last year too.
Yeah, I mean, I think because I have like claustrophobia that like this many people this year really made me uneasy, and my entire
Hmm.
group is very understanding that I have certain like things that I have to worry about, and
Yeah.
they were constantly like, "Are you okay? Are you good?" I'm like, I'm fine," or but then times we'll be like in the middle, like and I'll be like on the edge, and I'm just so surrounded. I'm like, guys, I'm not like this close to having a panic attack. If we could just step up
Yeah.
just for a second, that'd be fucking great.
That's
Uh,
scary.
and then the lineups, I thought last year was better. I thought the lineup was better last year.
Yeah. The with the crowd thing, like this was the first time I've actually had to like hold Chase's hand getting
Oh
through a
shoot.
crowd.
Yeah.
Not that we don't hold hands, but you know what I mean? Like he was literally holding onto my hand for dear life because there was just so many
Yes.
people coming from all directions. Like from, 8 p.m. to like midnight was
Mm-hmm.
just crazy trying to get anywhere. So I felt he was definitely getting overwhelmed. Like this was probably his second
Mm-hmm.
EDC, but like his second probably big festival like this. And yeah, also the stage line, the stage decoration, stage designs
Yeah.
this year were also a little underwhelming. Base pod was dope, Wasteland was dope, Kinetic Field always amazing. I was disappointed by Circuit Grounds and Neon Garden this year. Last year I thought was better, but It is what it is. It's hard to compare.
Yeah, my theory, conspiracy,
Yeah.
is that, last year they undersold, obviously.
Yeah.
As great as it was having all that room to dance, I feel like they undersold and the lineup was too good for how many tickets they sold. So this year
Yeah.
they had to accommodate for last year's mess up and, dim down the lineup, dim down the production, and oversell
Yeah.
tickets.
Yeah. It's pretty fair. I think last year also, like, they probably sold a lot of the tickets, but a lot of people didn't show up too.
Yeah, that's true too.
I think that could have also been a factor, and I think, you know, that could be true for this year, but I think they also spread themselves a little thin by adding more, right?
Yeah.
So like, because they have more in this more room in the speedway doesn't always necessarily mean we have to be doing more.
Right.
But like adding Bionic Jungle, well, it's really amazing to have a house stage, with all these iconic and amazing house artists. That production level that was done there, I was kind of like, could have been a little bit better,
Right.
but that could have also taken away from Neon Garden or for something else. Like, I don't know how these budgets work, but
I don't know
there was
either.
a couple of things where it's just like, I wish, Neon Garden stayed the same with the mega structure. Like, I thought that was so amazing. But it is what it is. I think I'm not the only one alone in that. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens with the stages next year
Well,
too,
even
and
the
like the whole
shuttles,
experience.
like
Yeah.
not having a shuttle from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. That's
Yeah.
huge. I'm so sorry, but you just stranded us at a festival
Literally.
because I assume budget cuts. I
And
don't know.
staff, right? Not having
Staffing,
staff
yeah.
available or buses available. Like, that's what happened at the merch line. Like, so there was two girls servicing our one line, and that's kind of how it was. Like, there was two people servicing one line, and all of a sudden this girl, she just disappeared
Yeah.
for the rest of the time.
It was
Like,
like
she just pieced out because she probably was done with her shift, and maybe someone didn't show up for their shift or something like that. So that's kind of what I was talking about, is like, if you're going to have more people, make sure you have enough to compensate, meeting those needs of those people, right? Like having those available shuttle times. And like, even then I heard that the earliest shuttle time you could have was 7 o'clock, right? And some people
Yeah,
didn't get to go to the opening ceremonies and
we
stuff.
Ubered. I paid $150 to Uber earlier because I had to go pick up my wristband for camping.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't even make it in time. So the lady drove us through the back entrance for staffing and just dropped us off at the staff camping entrance, and we just walked in. So I was like, at that point, we already missed it. I just told her to drive here. I know where the entrance is at, and we just drove right in. And then I was like, was this worth $150 when I have a shuttle pass? Probably not.
No.
But if you take the shuttle, I won't get into EDC until 8.
Yeah.
And
If you have a leave time at 7 o'clock.
yeah, I'm like that. It is what it is. Whatever. I could have bought the premium pass or premier pass and all that stuff and gone a little early, but then I have to go to a different hotel, do a whole different thing. It's a whole mess, right? And I also feel like I didn't prepare as a 10-year veteran. I definitely did not prepare as much as I should have. But at the same time, as content creators that we are just overwhelmed with all this other festival stuff we have going on. Like I forget what I went to. I went to Project Glow right before. I had, I think, Forbidden Kingdom the week right before that or something. And then Sunset right after that. And I was like, dude, I don't have time to think about. You're like, what's your favorite like part of the lineup? Like, I haven't even seen the lineup. I'm sorry. Like
that was like me with Electric Forest. People are like, who are you most excited for? I was like, I actually haven't looked at the lineup in a hot minute. Like, let me go back and look. I was like, I know Porter's on there.
Okay. You just transitioned for us. We're going to talk about Electric Forest.
Yes.
So you're going, what are your plans for Electric Forest? What's your squad? What are your plans in general?
Yeah. So I don't drive from Texas. That would be an awful drive to do. So we are flying in. I typically fly in on Tuesdays, and we usually like get a hotel and then get ready to get a rental car, like all that stuff. That way we can go directly on Wednesday for early arrival. So I'm going with a lot of forest newbies, which I'm very excited about. So I
gonna be a rave mama.
Yeah. So I have my friend, my boyfriend Chase, and then my best friend Ryan, who lives here in Austin, my best friend Lester, who just moved to Austin. So we're all flying together. And then I have 2 friends from Arizona coming, and then 2 friends from Austin that are also coming. But I was going by like our cars.
Right.
And then we're all arriving on Wednesday doing the early arrival. And we are camping with the Lunchbox fam in the group camp. So I'm super excited about that. So that's gonna be like a group of like
40,
40-ish.
right? That's yeah.
Yeah. And it's really great to do group camping because like we can all arrive at different times. We don't have to worry about like caravanning or like anything like that. So I'm really excited to see that process. And it really works out well for like when you have a bunch of people coming from different places,
That's
all of that.
actually really
So
cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was like a whole thing that they did.
yeah. Yeah. So with group camp, each car still has to have an early arrival pass, but you get a certain amount of car passes based on how many cars you have. So um we have our own car, and then like my friends have their own cars, and then Emma is also in this group too, so she's going to be flying in. She gets in late Tuesday, and then I think at least her and I are going to be in like a same caravan
Okay.
to get there together because she hasn't been a forest and her friends that she's coming with haven't been a forest.
Oh
So
my God. It's
yeah.
literally take the wheel.
I'm like literally everyone. So that's a plan for right now, but I'm just like super excited to be going back. I have a lot of tips and things like that on my YouTube channel if you guys want to dive in. I'm only going to do a Q&A video. I decided recently. I've done like a what to wear video because I hadn't done that
Yeah.
before. But it's been 3 years, so I'm kind
Yeah,
of
you
like,
have a lot of videos.
I have like 30-ish videos I want to
Yeah.
say, but I want to do some updated ones, but I want to go and experience it first. That way I don't have to like backtrack or like remake videos or like edit or anything like that. But yeah, that's the plan. And then we fly out Monday super late just in case camping is crazy. But I'm trying to not go in with any expectations for
Yeah.
this one and just kind of like letting everything be. Whatever happens, happens. Like, I think it still will be an amazing forest because it's the first one back. I just think the energy is going to be there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What about you?
Okay, so you know how I was just telling you, like, we just gotta take a break.
Yeah.
I need to take a break, a really big break this month. So all of June, I am taking this no festival because I mean, I honestly 3 festivals back to back actually it hurt me pretty bad, like mentally,
It's
physically.
a lot.
It was actually a very too much for me. So now I'm like June, I don't want to do anything because then I come to July and I have like I have 2 more things. So I got Christmas in July and I got Global Dance Festival, which I still have to do like an article for WFPI because they're giving me like a media pass in order to go, which is fine
Yeah.
if I don't get it anyway because I think like it is what it is. Like, I don't even like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. But they asked me like, are you going to do Electric Forest for June? And as much as I could be like, oh, hey, can I get a free ticket or can I get a staff ticket real quick or can somebody help me? I just don't want to go.
It's a
I'm so
lot.
tired. I'm gonna focus on
No, I get
myself.
it. I get it. That's smart. I mean, yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, I'm only going to 3 festivals this year, maybe 4, I think. And that's
Mhm.
like a cut in half from what I used to do, right? Like I used to
Right.
do 9 or 10 in a year, but I feel you on that. It's just a lot mentally, it's a lot physically. And like for me, where I have a job now that's completely on my own skills and
Mhm.
capabilities,
Right.
like I have clients to show up for, right?
Right.
So that's like something that I factor in as well. But I'm picking my moments, right? So Electric Forest is like a big moment for me. But
Yeah.
I think that's awesome for you to say, like, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back to it because you have the rest of, what's going on this year too. So
Y-
I think that's pretty admirable. And it should be talked about more in the festival community because I feel like we get so caught up as festival goers, like, oh, I have to go to all these things. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
And,
not
and
sustainable
everybody like
sometimes.
it's so hard because everyone expects to see you and meet you,
Mm,
and there's all these expectations that I have to go to all these festivals in order to meet my followers demands and maybe other collaborators, right? Like people like
yeah.
want to collab and do a TikTok with me and stuff like that, and I honestly I'm just like, I would love to spend all this money on the flight. I mean, the ticket will probably be free, I get it. I could probably only go for 2 days, but I think of the repercussions and like I just don't want to get the whoop flu. um
Yeah.
and I don't know. As content creators, it's a lot for us. It's not just we just go in and we just leave. We're thinking about content. Half of it's
Yeah.
work. then I have to hit up brands. What am I going to wear? Then I have to do TikToks and pictures while I'm there. And this month of June is relaxation for Frisky Hug. And I'm going to focus on my podcast this year. I've been finding a lot of joy in my podcast. So I feel like my podcast is about to take off in the next couple months. Just hint.
Amazing.
Like I've been talking to a couple DJs, so I'm actually getting more DJs onto the podcast. And then one DJ who will be on the podcast soon was like, hey, like I'm friends with Shaq. Shaq's not really interested in doing like a whole hour, but he'd be very interested in doing like a 20-minute podcast if you
Oh my God.
down. And it's like, nah, I prefer somebody else. Thank you. Not. No. And like, I started to think about like, wow, like my podcast is like so, uplifting at this moment that I'm getting just natural serotonin off of it. I think I'm just going to prioritize my podcast this month. And just work on that for this month so I can because I already know next July is coming. Let me set up podcasts that way if they're scheduled for those festival dates, and that way I don't have to worry about it and I don't have to get stressed out.
Lean into that momentum for sure.
And I got this big festival, Lost Lands, coming up in September that I'm still trying to figure out. My friend gave me a free ticket and I was like, oh my God, like I want to go. But it's right after Imagine Music Festival too. I have a back-to-back again. And I'm like, okay, that's just the life that we live in though.
I mean, but sometimes you like, if there's something that you want to go more into and lean more into, do it, putting those festivals aside for, being able to focus more on your podcast and growing that, I think is important to do. And it's something to pause on. And I think I don't want to get coachy on you right now, but I don't want to, but I'm going to a little bit because you're placing these expectations on yourself, but you're saying that your followers are placing these expectations on you. I don't know about your followers, but my followers don't make me feel like I need to go to a festival. You know what I mean?
I think it's myself. Like they say these things like, oh my God, I really want to meet you. If you can go to this festival, that would make my dream come true, whatever. Right. And it's like, and I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, fuck, I'm hard on myself. I'm an overthinker. So I overthink of these scenarios and things that don't even happen. It's like,
I get it. I get the DMs too of people being like that, but I explained to them all oh, that's just not on the cards for me. This year, I'm going to these ones. If you happen to go to these ones, or if you're ever in Austin, hit me up, you could always just say oh, this is kind of my set schedule I have here, and they should understand that, right? You're also not the Make-A-Wish Foundation here of you're gonna go to all these festivals.
I am my own worst enemy. I swear to God, sometimes I'm it's just because I think I give off I think you give it off too, and Emma, we all give off this this idea that we go to every festival, right?
We don't.
We don't, and I'm I physically can't, and I get FOMO just like everybody else, but it's why am I getting FOMO? I go to 16 festivals a year. Really? You're really getting FOMO? Bro,
I stopped getting FOMO a long time ago. I need
to be more like you, baby girl.
Yeah, because you just know that you can always come back to this scene, and your friends are always going to be there. The lineups are pretty much looking the same everywhere. I'm not gonna lie.
Every year,
not many lineups have made me be oh my God, I have to go to this festival because of this lineup, because they all are starting to look pretty similar. I'm not going to lie.
That's been me, honestly, for the last few years. I'm just I just don't and it's funny because EDC Vegas, right? My friends were like, oh my God, what are we seeing? What are you seeing? This and this. I'm I honestly haven't seen the lineup. I'm going to let you control where we go. Because they're the newer ravers are more excited, right? And they're I can't miss Millennium, or I can't miss James Hype. I'm I'll let the new ravers kind of decide where we go, because they're the ones that are actually excited. We're just being stubborn and want to keep seeing our artists. That's all.
No, I think that's actually smart. I might do that with Chase for a festival. Be you get to pick today. You're in charge. We do a good compromise of planning. Me and him, because we both like, especially with like house and techno, and then like I'll drag him to some other things, whether it's like Elenium. He didn't go to Elenium with me this time, but I did take him as ZZ at EDC. But that would be fun to do, like letting my boyfriend control the festival schedule.
Yeah, that's what I did for Sunset. I said, hey, you control the festival. The only thing that I'm requesting is that we go see Recno, because I am doing a Radiate meetup, and as part of that, we're gonna go to Recno together. I would love to have you there. And then he saw Recno and he was like, where has Recno been all my life? I'm like,
oh, I love that. Yeah,
great.
Recno will be at Forest. That's one of the things, like the EDC lineup. I had so many people I wanted to see, but then the set times actually came out and it was like, oh, well, I know who I'm seeing now because of the conflicts.
Exactly. And
so it's hard to get excited. Even with Forest, like I have my must-sees, but I know when those set times come out, decisions are going to be made probably.
When is Forest anyways? Is it 2 weeks?
It's like I leave the 21st, so we're in like the home stretch right now.
Wow.
It's always the weekend before 4th of July weekend.
All right, so this episode is going to be out actually this weekend. Do you have any advice for anybody going to Electric Forest? Like what are your like top three? Give me some top three advices. Like if you're going to go to Electric Forest, don't fuck this up.
Okay. When it comes to camp, I'll do like a camping one.
Okay.
When it comes to camping, focus on setting up your sleep for success, meaning like have, some padding. I have like a air pad that I blow up. It's not an air mattress because I fly. If you could do an air mattress, great. If you do an air pad or a memory foam pad or something like that will really help with your sleep. And then, bring one of those sleep masks, earplugs, all of that will be really helpful. If you get like one of those canopies that can help keep your tent shaded, which helps when the sun starts to rise because it gets really hot in the tents. Second thing I'll make it a what to pack for all occasions. So if it's going to rain, pack a poncho just in case.
Yeah.
We just don't know with the weather. The weather can always be very unpredictable. So like 2018, we had a thunderstorm evacuation for like an hour. And it didn't get super muddy or anything, but it was super hot that whole weekend. 2019, it only got cold one of the nights. Like I remember actually being cold one night, and then like one of the mornings it rained, but it didn't rain all day. But needless to say, like pack things for just hanging out at camp. You're going to be sweating at camp most likely. You can shower. The showers are like $7, I think. I don't know if that's the same this year. But pack for any of those kinds of occasions, just to be ready, whether you need like some type of rain boots, a rain poncho, a jacket for nighttime, sweatpants for nighttime. We're doing like a onesie night, the Lunchbox team, which I'm so excited about. So I actually need to buy Chase and I's. He might not wear it, but I'm gonna force him to.
Are you guys gonna do a matching or like a male and female type, like
Stitch?
Oh, are you guys doing Lilo and Stitch, or are you gonna both be Stitch?
There's a pink Stitch.
Oh,
there's a girl Stitch. So I'm gonna get the pink one, and he's gonna get the regular
pictures of this already.
He was like, I'm not doing that, but I think I'm gonna pack it still. And I think like with the peer pressure of everyone,
he's gonna see everyone wearing a onesie, and he's gonna talk to you like, did you pack it?
Yeah, literally. So that's the plan for that. But yeah, pack for any weather. And then the last thing I will say is like, just be present and like try not to be so in control of your experience and having the most amazing time. Like Forest is just one of those places that is so special, and like there's so many special surprises and things in store and like things to do. So don't stress so much about like creating the ultimate perfect Forest experience. Like I've been 2 years and I still haven't seen everything there is to see. So just like have a couple sets you want to see, do some exploring, have some fun. Like I say this with every festival, like there's so much planning that there's only so much planning you can do. Something might go wrong. Just do what you can to like control your experience and try to have the best time and just be present and enjoy it. Like it's going to be such an incredible weekend. I'm so excited to be going back. I haven't really announced this anywhere because I don't know. I'm sure I could say I am working with I am working with Forest in some capacity. So I'm excited to share more about that later on, but I get to work with one of my favorite festivals this year, which is also amazing. So that's another thing. Cool. So I think I'll be able to share more once I'm kind of doing it, but it'll be definitely a very special for us this year, but I'm just excited to go back. I will be having a meetup. I don't know when. I think we're thinking Friday, and it's going to be with the Lunchbox team. So we're like co-hosting it, I think. So more details on that, but I'm not bringing my totem. I found like a cute little like mini totem that I might bring. So I'll be posting about that. If you see me, say hi. You want to find me on Instagram, YouTube, all the things, I'll be posting what the little totem looks like. It's a cute little butterfly thing.
It's so funny because I've been thinking about like doing the same thing where like it just gets so hard to like come up with like a big totem and do all these that I've been wanting to do this like it's like infinity mirror and just put it on a pole. It just has like an infinity mirror as a totem.
Yeah.
And like they have like some really cool ones. They're like shaped like a dinosaur.
I think I
like
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I just don't want to do that.
I don't know if I can. Let's see if it pops up. I found like, oh, let's let it focus.
Oh,
isn't that cool?
That's actually really cool.
So it's like a little butterfly globe kind of thing.
Yeah. Like you don't need like to have like we don't need to have like our names anymore or whatever, because like I think a lot of times like we do that because like we want like our followers to find us, which that's one reason I do it. But honestly, like in those kind of environments where like you have like 40 people with you, you just want your friends to be able to like, hey, if you're lost,
find
like,
you.
I'm here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So that's normally for like a lawn, but I was like, oh, I can hold it. But I can also like put it in the ground too, and I don't want to hold it, or like put it in my lunchbox or something. It lights up. So I got one of those because my totem is just, it's a trek trying to bring that thing anywhere. I like put it in this big box and like,
I know, and I love your totem. I think it's great. I've actually like thought about like getting it stuff, but it's it gets really difficult when you're actually flying. Right? Like the fact that you did that for EDC Vegas, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I keep it in the box that it got shipped in. The boys sent it that did it, and Lit Totem guys, they sent it to me in the box, and I've just kept that box. The box is on its last leg. I've also been thinking about getting a new one because that one is my old logo. Like I have my newer logo. I got my new logo done literally right after that was made. And I was like, dang it, I should have waited, but it is what it is. But yeah, so if you see me at Forest, look for the little butterflies. And we'll also, I think the Lunchbox team is also bringing the totem. So I will most likely be with that totem every now and then too.
All right, Ade, where can people find you at? We're gonna close this podcast up, so let's get to the end of it. Where let us know them handles and websites and stuff.
Yeah, so you can find me at Vibe with Ade on Instagram, TikTok. I'm also on Twitter. Don't take it seriously, but I do post there. I'm youtube.com/vibe with Ade. That's where you can see all my vlogs and everything. We're almost to 10,000, which is crazy. So crazy. I'm so excited about that. And then the coaching business. So if any of you have been interested in maybe getting a life coach, you want help kind of getting more clarity on your life and things like that, I would love to help you out. My business is Find Your Vibe. You can check it out at findyourvibecoaching.com, Find Your Vibe 111 on Instagram. And I think those are the two main platforms I'm on. I'm thinking about doing a YouTube channel for that one, TikTok for that one, but we'll see. But that's where you can find me. There's a lot going on.
So I will go ahead and link everything. All of that will be in the description down below. If you are trying to figure out where this video is at, it's only on YouTube for the video. For the audio, it is on every single streaming platform to include SoundCloud. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And like I say at every single episode, I will catch y'all at the next one.